Right, welcome back. The American State Department runs a project which allows its ambassadors to choose iconic American artworks to be displayed in diplomatic residences around the world. It's called Art in Embassies. Now, as part of the program, the U.S. Ambassador to South Africa, Patrick Gaspard, will hold discussions in Cape Town tomorrow and in Johannesburg on Friday night with American and South African artists. The ambassador is in studio with us to talk more about this. Good to have you. Welcome to Morning Live again.
Good morning, Leanne. It's always great to be on your show.
So this is such a wonderful initiative, because while we were talking off air, it always feels like, you know, when an embassy is in the country, all we do is focus in on politics. It's so nice to see that the politics is almost being shifted aside and artists are taking center stage. What's the history of this initiative?
It's always wonderful when art has primacy, particularly since it's a language that helps us to cut through the seeming differences that exist between our people and to make real linkages. This program started in 1963. It was launched by President John Kennedy and his wife, Mrs. Jacqueline Kennedy. And it was, of course, an attempt to extend our diplomatic reach and our cultural significance and connection with countries around the world. So now, in over 200 diplomatic posts, we have contributions from leading American artists, plus artists from the host countries who are on dialogue on the canvases on our walls. And quite often, we bring those artists to the country and go out and have a vibrant conversation on the ground with young people in particular who can draw some inspiration from these works.
How do you actually go about choosing the artists?
Well, what's wonderful, one of the few things that's great about being the U.S. Ambassador, Leon, is I got to shape the exhibition that's in my residence now. My wife and I worked with the Art in the Embassies program. There were artists that we were keenly interested in who we thought had something to say about this moment in South Africa when we're celebrating the 20th anniversary of democracy here and the 50th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act in the United States. And so we chose iconic African-American artists and South African artists who we think speak to that moment and point us forward to a vibrant, transformative future.
Who are some of the artists, South African artists?
Some of the South African artists are wonderful young artists like Mary Sabande, who many of your viewers may remember from the 2010 World Cup, when her fantastic images were blown up all around South Africa. Fantastic, brilliant young artist. And Nicholas Shlobo, who's a sculptor, who is also vibrant and engaging. Both of them ask really difficult questions about identity, about race, about gender, and about whether or not we're moving forward as a society. And they're joined by American artists like Robert Pruitt and Sanford Biggers, who are involved in the same sort of idioms.
So this all culminates in a panel discussion that's happening in Cape Town, and then again here in Johannesburg or Pretoria. I'm not too sure where. Is it Pretoria?
In Johannesburg.
In Johannesburg.
Yes.
What is going to be discussed in these panel discussions?
Well, I think, as I said, it's important at this time when there are so many commonalities as we get to the 20th anniversary of democracy, and South Africans have so much to be proud of, but there are so many questions about who has been involved, who's been included in economic transformation, who's been left out. We have similar questions in our countries, so that will be a part of the discussion. Plus, the question of identity itself, which is something that we are all challenged by and struggle with, and the sense that art is an important contributor to lifting up our societies. You should know that in addition to the discussions, we're also going to townships like Langa in Cape Town, where we're going to engage young people, create permanent murals in communities, and do things to make sure that the art is living and vibrant on the ground.
Excellent. On another conversation, in August, it's going to be a very significant time where President Jacob Zuma is going to be in Washington, and they're going to be rolling out a project initiated by President Barack Obama when he came to South Africa. Are there any details about this particular visit and the project and things that we should know?
There's so much going on between our two countries in this bilateral relationship right now. You're right, Leon. In the beginning of August, President Obama has organized an African Heads of State Summit. We're pleased and honored that President Zuma will be joining us with a robust delegation of government and business leaders to talk about issues in Africa like healthcare, like energy, like education and investment. And during that period, we're also going to have incredibly young people who are part of President Obama's Young African Leaders Initiative, 46 South Africans who were chosen amongst 4,000 who applied, who are going to the best universities in our country, who are going to come back and make just a great contribution. So we couldn't be more excited about all that's going on.
Well, that's amazing. Listen, I hope, I know that we chatting to see if we can somehow be there with you, because I think this is just going to be such an incredible experience to show South Africans what's going on behind the scene, and particularly with our youth. I mean, you're saying, so it's 46 young South Africans that are going down and going to be studying at the best universities there.
Absolutely.
How are they chosen? Have they, obviously they've been chosen already.
Yeah, they have been chosen. This was a tougher program to get into than the Harvard freshman class.
I can imagine.
There were 4,000 South Africans who applied for those 46 slots, and we chose individuals who already who are already accomplished in civil society, in government, in business and entrepreneurship. People who've already made a contribution, who we feel are ready to step up to the next level of taking the mantle of leadership for the next generation of great South Africans.
Yeah.
And
is this going to be an ongoing initiative?
It will be, yes. This is the beginning of a program that we believe will have a lasting legacy throughout the African continent. There are 500 young African leaders from 50 countries who will be participating in this, and then beyond that, the thousands who applied who didn't get in this time around will be involved in internships and trainings here on the ground.
Excellent. Final question before I let you go. I know we're running over a little bit, but I just want to get your views. How did you find the elections? We saw you wandering around that election center in Pretoria very, very often. What did you think?
Well, I was like a kid in a candy factory. You know that I have a lot of experience with campaigns and elections, and I have to tell you that I think South Africans should be enormously proud of the way the elections were held, conducted, how transparent they were, and how South Africans were able to go and give expression to their preferences without fear of reprisal or retribution. It was a great expression of democracy, and we should all be proud of what took place here.
Fantastic. Ambassador Gaspard, thank you very, very much for talking to us here on the program. Patrick Gaspard is, of course, the U.S. ambassador to South Africa, talking to us about an art exhibition, also a trip that's going to be taking place next month in August, and this is going to be for them to change their lives, to go over and study at the best American universities, together with an African Head of State Summit happening in the U.S. So there is so much happening between the two countries. Very, very nice. Thank you so much for being with us here on the program. Also exciting is that the American artists are actually going to be on the show this morning, so we'll be able to chat to them and find out what it's like to be a part of this initiative. All right.